So we're doing challenge groups. Anyway, so talking about hosting good challenge groups. So not that I like to brag by any means, but here lately, when me and Jessica split off, she still adds me to her groups and I add her to my group. I don't do anything in her group. She doesn't do anything in mine, but we kind of do it as like, we're success partners, so we do it as more of like a fly on the wall type thing so that we can give each other feedback at the end of the month, what went good, what didn't. And our groups really have been doing so good. Shelly and Danielle are my CMOs or whatever you want to call them the last few months, but Dan's also in our group, Amanda's in our group. There's just been a lot of participation. They're super encouraging and motivating to each other. One thing with groups, you're going to have groups that are great and you're going to have groups that are bad. That's just kind of how the trigger rolls, I don't know. But this is where you're really growing your team. So when you're looking to recruit coaches, of course, in the beginning, it's easy to sign coaches up as discount coaches. But if you're going to grow your team and you're really going to make this thing work, recruiting them in challenge groups is where, that comes into play. So you really want your groups to be, jam up. So they want to join it. And I think we're having so many coaches want to join, and I really think it's for the community. I don't think it's, several of them are like, oh, I'm not into the whole inviting thing yet or whatever, because I think they're just happy to be a part of something not bigger than them, but just a community of people that they're to support. So I just wanted to share a few things that I've changed in how I do my groups. Some of you have never even been in a group with me, so I'm not sure how everyone's split up and separated now. So just a few tips, but one of Lindsay Matway's quotes always sticks out to me, and for whatever reason, I've been in like a super funk lately. I think part of it's that I'm in between programs, so I haven't been that excited to work out because I don't, know what I'm going to do every day. And being proof the products work is one of the most important things, in hosting challenge groups, because as a teacher, I always hated administration. I think that's kind of like a teacher thing. You just have to hate administration. But the biggest thing I hated was that they forgot what it was like to be a teacher. So they would come in your classroom and be like, expecting you to do all these things that they weren't possible, and they had been in the classroom at one time. So I always was like, if I were ever a principal, I would never forget what it was like to be a teacher. Well, now as a coach, sometimes I think I forget what it was like to be a challenger. So one of the biggest things that I think has made a difference in my group is I act as a challenger. I post my score every day. I, log my workout. I log my shake. And I think that helps because, number one, if I don't do it, someone's going to call me out. But it helps me remember what it was like to be a challenger. So when I'm giving them feedback or I'm trying to give them suggestions, I know, it's easier for me to be like, well, you went over your containers or whatever. Well, now when I'm struggling to try to stick to that container count, I just kind of can relate to them a little more. So I think acting as a challenger has been one of the biggest, improvements in my group. Which I talked about being proof the products work. I think it's super important for you to commit to a program and finish a program. Again, not only is that making, it reminds you what it felt like to start and finish the program, but then you have before and after photos to share. And we all know that that's why MLMs work, because it's real people sharing, their success. If you flop a photo out there of somebody off the internet, the people in your group don't connect to that because they don't know that person. They don't know what that person, does on a daily basis, the struggles and successes they go through. So by sharing your own before and after pictures, by committing to a program and having before and after pictures to share, I think, really helps them have that connection to it as well. I have started I still have a morning post every morning. And it always has some kind of call to action. I've definitely shortened our posts. I mean, some of them are still a little long. I feel like there's some of them you can't really, cut out. But we've definitely gotten shorter, and they have a call to action. But in the afternoon, they come back and rate their day. And I know some of you don't do the scores anymore. Some of you still do. We kind of went back and forth. We thought about getting rid of it, but I like rating my day. That's probably in the teacher in me. I want to evaluate it. So when I can look at my score and say I'm missing points every day for not hitting my water goal, then I know that I need to work on my water goal. And that also helps me as a coach, because as my challengers are coming in and they're like I have one girl, she's not hitting her water goal every day. So now I've personally reached out to her and we've come up with a plan for her to meet her water goal. I think it helps me know where they're really, where they're weak, because we all know, everyone says there's no question's a dumb question, but no one ever wants to ask the question. So your challengers aren't going to reach out to you and be like, oh my God, I'm not hitting my water goal, unless they're just that superstar challenger. So it helps me know where they're struggling. So what I do is I post every day to the group at 7, and I tell them right off the bat that it's 7 because they should be done eating, by that time. And it's such a small post. Like, it legit will say, day 4, drop your score. And then I usually have some kind of little tip. Like right now we're doing Fit Olympics. So we're putting just different, like Olympic athlete quotes or, trainer tips, whatever. So it's not like you're like, oh my God, I have to create a whole nother post. Some days it's just a link to, day 5, who's still alive, and then I'll put like a link to a Beachbody blog for a recipe or whatever. Super small, but I think it also helps because, part of our evaluation is to check into the group. And sometimes first thing in the morning, that post hits at 5 o'clock in the morning. Half the time when they're reading it, they're not even awake yet. So they've read the post, they've moved on with their day, and then they never come back into the group. Or when they log on Facebook, they've got 50 notifications from the group, and they scroll through half of them and ignore the rest of it. So I think it helps them come back and, commit to the group. And I bet Jessica and Kelsey are talking about me because they're laughing. But anyway, I think it helps them know that they're coming back to the group, and Nicole's in on it too, rating themselves. Buffer is my lifesaver. So y'all know I'm super cheap. I ain't trying to spend no extra money. Buffer's only $10 a month. Actually, if you pay for it annually, I think it's actually, they knock off like 2 payments or something. But it truly has been a lifesaver. If you're hosting your own group, you've got to get a Buffer. I'm telling you, it is the best $10 you're going to spend all month. So you go into Buffer and you can schedule all of your posts. I know there are some other ones. I think Hootsuite or something. I think that one might be free. I don't know. But Buffer's super easy to manage. You link it straight to your Facebook. So like I have all of my groups set up, and you schedule your post. You pick what time you want it to hit, and it goes at the exact same time every day. And I think that has helped too, because everyone likes consistency. So they know that post is going to hit at 5 a.m. and 7 o'clock every night. Some of them know that it comes from Buffer. Some of them don't even notice that it comes from Buffer. But to be real honest, I don't really care that they did. If they did know it came from Buffer, we've still scripted it out, and it posts. I actually have one girl one day be like, "Oh my God, you're up every morning right at 5 o'clock." Well, not exactly, but it helps. Knowing that the post is going to hit every day. And another reason I love Buffer isn't just that it's scheduled and it's done and it's out of the way. I, put those in the beginning of my challenge, and it's done for the whole month. So then when it posts every day, it's kind of like a new post for me too. Whereas before, when I was just copying and pasting it every day, I wasn't really reading it. I was copying and pasting it and then kind of moving on. And so it's easier for me to act as a challenger this way, because I have to actually go back and read the post, know what it was, and then I do the assignment with them. So I like that it kind of keeps it fresh for me as well. A few tips that I just wanted to share with some of you guys. I'm not sure if all of you have access to it. I have a Google Docs sheet that I've shared with my coaches, or it's actually a whole file, and I have all but September. I don't know what happened in September, but I've got a template for every month of the year, and they're themed. Some of them are better than others, depending on what I had going on at that time. I'm sure my November one's probably not that hot because I had just had a brand new baby. So I always go back and proofread them before I post. But if you're brand new and you're hosting challenge groups and you don't have a clue where to start, it's all done for you. Number one, there's some in the back office in your coach online office, but these are some that we've kind of changed and put our own spin on. So if you are thinking, okay, I do feel like I'm ready to host my own group, but you're kind of scared to death thinking, where do they even come up with this stuff every day? It's really honestly already all done for you. So you don't have to worry about creating new material. You'll know I hate inviting. I'm not an inviter. But the last 4 or 5 months, we've done one free group every month. And that has really helped my challenge groups as well. Number one, some of those people end up signing up. You get Success Club, they're in your challenge group. But hosting those kind of sneak peek groups, again, I think the community is one of the biggest, pros to the whole Beachbody thing. So when they're in those free groups, you get a chance to not really, I think sometimes in the challenge groups, you become more of a cheerleader. Everyone's following a program. You kind of assume that they're relying on doing what their book tells them, and we all know they don't read what their book tells them to do. But you kind of are just like, way to go, good job. I think that the free groups are a good time for me to sit back and realize, okay, they're not following a program. And so when they're zipping in to Burger King and grabbing a salad or, whatever, and they think that they're making these healthy alternatives, hey, Jodie, it's a good time for me to, as a coach, be like, okay, that's obviously better than a Whopper or whatever. I don't know what Burger King has, but it's a good time for you to really coach instead of cheer. I think that it's important to really, like I said, the buffer helps me with that too, because I'm acting as a challenger, so it's easier for me to see kind of where they're coming from and help them when they post, not hitting my water goal, or I'm having a hard time with this. It's easier for me to, give them some suggestions. We all know that recognition is the fourth vital behavior now, and recognizing in your challenge groups. When the recognition first came about to me, of course, my coaches are what immediately popped into my head, but it's so easy to recognize your challengers, and it can just be anybody who's posting, consistently. The other day I gave a shout out to one of my girls. She had posted on her private wall like a little quote, and was basically like, if you don't like health and fitness, then you probably want to unfollow me. So I just screenshotted it and shared it in our group, because a lot of people in our group are struggling with sharing outside of the group. And I do a share of the day point system. I don't know if some of you do or don't do that. It can be anything in the world, as long as it's, inspiring to somebody else, and they get 10 points out of their score. If they share it on their personal wall, they get 5 if they share it in the group. Of course, a lot of them are okay sharing in the group, but number one, it kind of already has them taking on that coach role where they're already inspiring people and not even realizing that they're doing it. But like I said, we have a lot of people every day saying that, I'm still having a hard time posting to my own wall. And so now I'm trying to get them to understand that the reason why I want them posting outside of the group, the more people that are, aware of your goals and what you're doing, obviously, the more likely you are to stick to it. So recognition was where I was going with that. She had posted just a really good thing to her personal page, and so I posted it in the group. Confidence. Like I said in the beginning, I don't know if when I broke off from Jessica, I just kind of felt more confident in the group, but I think also knowing that it was just me, posting every day. Y'all know I'm the big act as if you're a 5-star diamond, act as if you have the best abs in the world. Like, I truly believe in positive mindset. So you believe it, it's going to come true. So hosting your own groups and taking on that leadership role, I think really makes a difference too. And I'm not saying that you can't team up with other coaches. I think it's great to team up with other coaches. Like, I'm already dreading the day that Shelly and Danielle move on from me, because I don't want it to happen. But I think that having that leadership role also is very important in your groups. One thing that when I was making my scribble notes for tonight's call, I don't know if you guys have ever heard the quote, don't downgrade your dream to match your reality, upgrade your faith to match your destiny. For me, that just really goes into, you've got to work for the life that you want. And we all have different reasons why we're coaching, and we all definitely have different goals. At Summit, when we all had our little, little slumber party chat session that we did, we were talking about our goals and where we wanted to go. And you may not be in Beachbody for financial reasons, but you also may be. And it's easy. The biggest thing I can say about challenge groups, you always, at the end of every challenge group, you want to self-reflect. Like, I always message my coaches like, okay, what was good, what was bad? What do y'all want to do different next time? Whatever. Self-reflection is a huge part of it. I am used to kind of taking on that overcome role. I grew up with a drug addict mother, an alcoholic father. I was raised by my grandma. So I was, already told, not maybe straight to my face, but I was the kid no one was allowed to spend the night with because I didn't really have a curfew. My granny didn't know when I was coming home. So I'm used to kind of overcoming that whole you're going to be what someone else tells you that you're going to be. But I think having faith in what you're doing and really know why you're doing it is so important in this business. And again, it may not be financial reasons for you. Just know why you're here and know why you're doing it. If any of you, I think that's all I had. Being approved the product for before and after, I talked about that. Free groups. Yep, I'm good. Does anybody else have something that's super, that you've changed in your group that's really working for you that you want to share with anybody? That share of the day thing, I think, is going good. And it's also easier for me. I don't have to come up with, today we're going to do a squat challenge, or, you know, we still can post fun things in the group randomly, like a little bingo / challenge or whatever. But this is just easy. I point to the thing every week. Every week they have a max of 165 points. The whole challenge is worth 600. So again, at the end of the week, when they post their final score and they posted they had a 98, and I know it's out of 165, I know I need to personally, you know, touch base with that challenger. So the share of the day is really helpful, that they can share anything, a sweaty selfie, a motivational quote, a recipe, whatever. Does anybody have anything that they want to share that is really working in your group, or even ask a question of whatever?
I was going to say that we just do, me and Jessica actually teamed up this month, and we do a live video at the end of the day for a recap, and it's live. And so it's really like a lot of the challengers like that. They sit there and comment and interact with you. You know, you can ask them questions or ask if they have any questions, and they can respond to that. And I think that's going, like, I think this challenge group is one of the best ones we've had in a while. Like, the participation is super high. But one thing I noticed when I started doing challenge groups for myself was having them share, not just like the bonus points for sharing outside of, you know, our little group. And when they were doing that, it also it not only helped them kind of overcome their fear of sharing and, you know, kind of going outside of their comfort zone, but it also allowed like you to attract other people too. Like, when people see that post and they notice this person like doing something new, they want to know about that. And a lot of times I get a lot of referrals from like challengers I have who have friends that want to sign up, and they don't want to be a coach to sign them up. So I sit there and sign them up, and a lot of challengers I've never even met. So I know that's like one way to kind of like not outsource it, but kind of go outside of your cold or warm market. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've had several that way too. I tried a few live videos in the beginning of mine, and every one of them, Joe almost choked and died in one of them. I dropped the camera in one of them. I have some work before I'm going to do some more live videos. Anybody else have anything you want to share that's going good? Or maybe something that you don't think is going good and you want some feedback on? Britt, how is y'all going?
Ours is, hold on. I have like this nasty cough, and I don't know, I can't get rid of it. I got it like the night I came back from Summit, and it's awful. So this time we're like not using a template because we felt like we were really lacking just like really being supportive and just like motivating. A lot of our people could care less to read about health and fitness. Like, I think they just want, like you were saying, like more of a cheerleader. So this time we actually started doing like themed days. I know we tried that before when we did like the hashtag thing. That was a total bust, but we've been doing like Motivational Monday, Tasty Tuesday, Wellness Wednesday. And so far it's working really well. And I personally like it because it doesn't feel like a template. Like, you can tell that it was just like more sporadic. They're very short and to the point, which is really good. Definitely the longer posts, no one cares to read them. I know half the time when I type a long post, I don't even want to proofread it. So that was something I learned, get rid of the long post. And I also like going live. A lot of times I'll do it like after I work out, like literally right when I finish. So I'm like dripping in sweat and I can barely breathe, and just try to be like super like motivational about like getting your workout in and like giving it your all. Because this time in our group, we have some negative Nancys who just complain that they can't do anything and they can't even follow the modifier. And I've tried reaching out to them personally, and it's not going well. So this group, we're just really trying to be like more supportive and motivating. And so far it's working well. I really like it. It's at least good for us who have been in the groups. We have like a lot of people who have been in the groups for a really long time, so they were tired of seeing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, I kind of did the same thing. That's why we started trying to switch ours up a little bit, because I'm just letting anybody come back. And if they were a challenger of mine at any time, I let them in. I know some people are different. They make them get a program or Shakeology or whatever, but I think that helps too, because people that have been in the groups for a long time, you know, in the beginning, they feel overwhelmed. So then they have those challengers that have done it be like, you know, I promise it's not as complicated as it sounds, or I think it's more encouraging to them coming from another person that they don't feel like is a coach, you know, that, because we all know coaches are perfect.
Good. You made everybody's made some really good points. I've actually been sitting down here jotting down notes. So, thank you for sharing all those. And Jodie, and like she said, I've actually screenshotted parts of her group and sent it to my group before I teamed up with Kelsey. And it was like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like, I don't know if they weren't getting it or what, but, you know, I think it helps to have new people in your group, because let's be honest, I mean, us as coaches get kind of bored with it because you've seen a lot of the same stuff, and it's hard to kind of keep mixing it up. But for me, what excites me is to see somebody new come in and really just get excited about it. And I know that excites me, and it excites other people because, you know, like tracks alike. So, you know, I found that really helpful to like team up with Kelsey this time, because maybe they're not new challengers, but they're new people. And so they're learning about different people. And so there's a really good energy just by mixing it up. So if you find that you're getting stagnant, like maybe just try to team up with somebody different, or, you know, of course, try to get some new challengers in there. That's always the goal. Something I've done different this time is we're doing 5:15 a.m. text chain. So I've got 2 groups because I didn't want them to be huge texts, and there's 3 people in each group, and I have 2 of them. And at 5:15, it makes me get up and text them and say, where are your girls at? You know what I mean? So if you're an early riser and you want to do your workout at a certain time, find people that want to do their workout at that time. And for me, some of them, they're Kelsey's challengers. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's for my accountability. So I found that super helpful too. And you know, if it's like 6 o'clock, I'm like, crap, I missed my alarm, but you girls don't be afraid to call me out. And like today, you know, someone beat me to it. So I think just making it fun for yourself makes a big difference too.
You might want to put me in that text chain. Okay. I did have one point that I forgot to hit on. We have really started doing accountability partners. We're big on that in the beginning, making sure everyone has a partner. We try to make them team up with someone new so that they're not with the same, you know, best friend they've always had their whole life in the group. And then in our post, a lot of our call to actions we've changed up to be where they tag somebody else. But even then, we have them tag someone other than their accountability partner. So again, they're reaching out to someone new and building that community. Like the one I was typing up today, it was, I think, something about Beachbody on Demand, and it was, oh no, it was a recipe. It was reach out and share a recipe with someone or request a recipe from somebody, and it was other than your accountability partner. So that's been a big one too, because again, they're more apt to ask their challenger buddy than they are. I feel like they think sometimes that they're annoying questions or something. But accountability partners have been a huge thing for us too.
Mm-hmm.
Corey, have y'all started your country heat group?
No, we start Monday.
Okay. That's exciting.
Yeah. We have a few people that aren't doing that program, but I let them in anyway, just to have people in the group.
Yeah. I let anybody in mine. I never do a program-specific group just because very rare that you have all the same people doing the same workout.
I wanted to do it because it was a new program. I thought that we'd get a little more interest in it that way, but it didn't really happen. I got one person to get that program, but I got it, so I'll be doing it too, but that's okay.
I really like Jodie when she talked about act as if you're a challenger and getting like completing a program beginning to end. I find that when you don't, that's when I get in a funk. If I don't have a program I'm doing and I don't have a schedule. It's like, for you people that have kids and you're out for the summer, like you're having fun, maybe you're doing something, but there's no routine. And I think the same thing for your fitness journey. You need to have a routine and know exactly what you're going to do the next day. And so I was trying to convince myself that, doing the challenge du jour or whatever would be fine. But then I was like, I don't like that one. I don't like that one, and then it was like, well, I don't want to do any of it, but I've wasted 20 minutes. Now I can't work out. So, I think, finding a program, and Carl, I've heard several national wake-up calls where he or other coaches talk about, like, that's what this business is based on, is showing people that these programs work. And the only way that we can show them that they work is starting it from beginning to end. And so many times, I am guilty. It's like the preacher over here preaching to myself. But, starting something and like 3-4 weeks in and be like, I am bored. I do not want to do this anymore. But I think it's, our job as coaches to show people that this does work and that you have to start and finish it. Or they're never going to, they're not going to do it either, because we're supposed to be for the products work. So I think finding something, I'm going to Body Beat. I'm actually starting tomorrow. And that's an old program. So you don't even have to do a new program. I think it's great to do a new one because it's kind of where the hype is in the marketing. But don't be afraid to go back to an old one and show people, that there's validity in P90X if you need to, if you have time for those hour workouts. But anyway, definitely find a program and start and finish it.
Yeah, that's part of my funk. I'm in no program. And today was hip hop abs on challenge du jour. I did about 4 minutes and I couldn't, not up in here, Shanti. You have made some big gains since hip hop abs.
Were you not doing the chisel thing or hammer and chisel?
They're too long. Listen, after doing 22-minute hardcore and then trying to go back to Master's Hammer and Chisel, 43 minutes? No. I could not. I'm going to have to go back like 30 minutes and then work my way back up to 40.
Proof of the product.
I'd rather do 43 minutes hammer and chisel than 22 minutes of
I'm going to be proof Hey, Jillian.
That's a great call. I think everyone, is anyone if you're having a really not so good group, don't be afraid to speak up and say, I don't know what's going on, but this is how I want to change it, or do you have any advice? Because we've all been there. So in those groups where it's like, I want to quit because this group sucks. So if you're in one of those groups, don't be afraid to be kind of harsh but direct with them. And I find that works best for me in my groups when I'm like, listen, I pour my heart and soul into this group. I do it for free. I do it because I love you guys and I want you to get results. If you're not taking this seriously, then now's not a good time for you. And usually when I do a little kick in the butt like that, they're like, oh, okay. But that's when I have to be honest too about, am I doing my part in that group? Am I checking in like I'm supposed to? Am I checking their trackers? Because if you're not giving hey, girl, you didn't send me your tracker and you said you were going to, you're not giving them the accountability that you said you're going to give them either. So neither one of us are doing our part. So you can't blame them. So a lot of times it's me taking a good look in the mirror and saying my challenge group sucks because I'm sucking right now. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do and I'm not being a good coach. So, but if you find yourself in that position, don't be afraid to have a long, hard talk with yourself and then have a harsh conversation with the people in the group, because everyone has to do their part, and you're taking time away from your families and your to-do list to help them, and then they need to realize that, because I think some people think we just do this for shits and giggles sometimes, and it's our job. So you have to just be really honest with them.
One other thing, I thought of another thing. I think this was on National Wake Up Call or something I listened to, or maybe it was Summit, I don't know, about not being so readily available in your groups. I've started doing that too. And even during the day when I go on Facebook and I check my notifications, I scroll past all of my Fit Olympics notifications. So I check into my group in the morning, one time throughout the day, in the afternoon. And then, of course, I scroll back through and, try to respond to their comments or post on their pictures or whatever. But that helps make them all rely on each other too. So it's not always me answering questions. Sometimes they take the initiative to figure it out themselves, or someone else shares, and that helps too. And then, of course, I don't think that I just sit at home and respond to Facebook all day.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I know when I'm getting, like, even I'll have challengers be like, the group's really overwhelming. And I'm like, find a day or find a time in the day that you're going to come check in the group and turn the notifications off and just check in the group once a day. So if you know, and I have to do the same things. If I was just, you don't have time to check in that group every time you see a notification, and your challengers don't either. And I think it's relaying that expectation to them, like, hey, don't feel like you need to come in here every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, it sounds like everyone's about ready to go do their thing, but thank you, Jodie, for...
Look what I found, Kelsey.
Let me see. Put it back up. Oh my gosh, we're going to have to recreate that.
Ford's like, why do y'all have on different uniforms? I'm like, because she was clearly younger than me.
Before everybody
And
jumps,
y'all were clearly me, your cheerleading coaches.
before everybody
You were
jumps
my coach at the time.
I want to, what does everybody want to talk about? Like our future team calls. We have all talked about things before, but we've got new coaches in here that may have not have heard it. And like, what do y'all want to hear? Which is it, is it about inviting? Is it about adding coaches? Is it about, the mindset of just the struggle of the up and down of being a coach? Is it, I need to know what y'all want to hear, because that's what we're here for. So if there's any,
I think placement and volume is always really confusing, especially for new people. And even for me, I still don't understand volume. I mean, totally.
I did a whole team call on volume and thought I had it figured out, and then
Yeah.
I still confused myself on volume.
And then rank advancing and how to get to elite and, all of that stuff is still really muddy for me.
Yeah,
Maybe you can do elite, because elite points still confuse me too.
Yeah, I don't understand Premier and Elite. And, like, I want to shoot for Premier, but I don't even know how to shoot for it because I don't understand it.
Which the only difference in Premier and Elite, one's 2-star, one's 5-star, but the way your point, Jessica, I may be wrong on this, you can correct me, but, like, you get points from your personally sponsored coaches getting Success Club. And that's how you get elite points.
right.
Well, there's like 3 ways.
It's a complicated system, and you don't even need to worry. But the problem is I found myself worried about it before I was ever a steady diamond. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just focus on that first star first. But basically all elite and premier is, for people in the call, it's like I have no idea what they're talking about, is once you get to diamond, that's about as high as you can go. Then you have to start helping other people get to diamond. That's how you get to star diamonds. So elite and premier is 2-star, and elite is 5-star. But then there's a point system that goes along with that, and you get points for your own Success Club points, your personally sponsored coaches Success Club points, and rank advancing your personally sponsored coaches. So
it's like, in the leadership ladder where it says how many personally sponsored coaches with Success Club points, like, it basically pulls from there. So however many coaches you have getting Success Club points, you get points for them getting points, basically.
So whereas, we talk about Success Club, if you're getting Success Club, you're growing your business consistently. The next step is if you are hitting elite and premier every year, then you're doing exactly what you need to be doing to grow your business. So it's kind of like that next milestone after you're consistently hitting Success Club.
Does anybody else have any other topics that you would want to hit on?
So volume, rank advancing, that whole thing, and
placement, elite, and premier.
All right. Well, Dynasty calls only go into once a month now, isn't it? I just found that out today. All right. Well, then we got some free time to everybody get their power hour in, because everybody's done it right so far today. I'm doing it right now as soon as this call ends, promise.
Thursdays are always my late night work. Forward the cards.
Okay. Well, everybody go get to, and talking about power hour, Okay, so I thought I was using TV, and I'm like, well, quick, I wasn't using it, so then I quit it, and I was doing paper trackers, and then I wasn't using paper trackers, and so then I just paid for a year of TeamZ because it's forcing me to use it, and I had to pay, I think, $300 to use it for the year. But that's like paying for your summit a year in advance. Like this way, it's like I'm gonna have to use this for next year, and I'm going to summit next year. So I think it's $29 a month if you just pay monthly. But it's a way to track your invites, and that's, I mean, don't be like me and still 2.5 years later be floundering about, I don't remember who I invited. I don't know how much of a power hour I did. You need to find a tracking mechanism that works and do it. And if we get, they'll do a free call for our team if we get 25 people on. Most of them might help.
I don't know. I didn't really think it was that awesome.
Well, the problem is there's nothing that's awesome, or that I can find that's awesome, that's working consistently for me. So I just need to stick with it.
Baffling.
I like that it's like, oh, you just completed your power hour. Ding, ding, ding. So.
I never got no ding, ding, dings.
Well, maybe this went off in my head when all the circles were full.
Oh.
All right, everyone. Thank you for jumping on. Hopefully you learned a few things that you can take back to your challenge groups. Don't forget to be a challenger. Don't forget to be real with your people. Let them know that this is a business. You're treating it like one. And since you're doing that, we'll see you here next week. Thank you, Jodie. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.